All right, so this should be interesting. I've never driven a an air-cooled Porsche, actually a vintage car at all for that matter. I've ridden in them, but yeah, should be fun. Not gonna lie, a little nervous for this one, and to add to it, this is for a reason. I gotta deliver it somewhere about half an hour away through downtown Austin, Texas. So I figured as long as I'm recording, should be some entertainment. So let's go ahead and get to it. So from the first few hundred feet there, definitely a different experience. Got to be a little bit smoother with the transmission. Again, this is just my first time in a vintage car at all. But really cool greenhouse effect with this Targa. Really nice behind and everything, but really an open experience, but a smaller cabin. I'm not going to try to push it at all here. Just going to try to leisurely get it to where it needs to go. But overall, really cool car. I'd imagine with a lot of time behind it, it'd be really fun to heel toe and do all that fun stuff. That's new to me, actually. Quite a bit of wind noise here. Where's my speedometer? Doing about 65 or so miles an hour. Quite a bit of wind noise with the Targa coming through here, but you know. So I doubt you guys are gonna be able to hear me much at all just because of the wind sound, but I'll try to talk anyway, give some impressions. But anyway, really cool experience so far. Like I said, with the glass or the greenhouse effect. If you had the Targa off, that would even add to that. But just a really cool cabin to be in. Rear view mirror, I mean, that's great. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see with the GoPro. It just cruises really nice. It feels really low to the ground. And of course, this is a really small car and it feels it, but Porsche 911s have always kind of been at their time, like the size to base sports cars off of. And so this one, at its time, must have felt great, but I mean, all these years later, it still feels like a really sweet, nimble size. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But I mean, once you find your gear, just fifth gear, and just to cruise on the highway doing about, what is that, 65, 70 miles an hour, it is just cruising really nicely. The only shock I've had actually with this car, and again, this is coming from someone who's been spoiled and has only driven new cars, as far as manual transmissions and everything, the only thing that I was kind of caught off guard was in between the shifts, it really drops the RPM quickly, so trying to make that smooth, I guess releasing the clutch, getting into the next gear, it's a little bit abrupt. So to find that to be smooth, will just take a little bit of time, I'd imagine, but getting up and rolling is no problem at all if you've driven manual before. So I'd imagine once you get really good with it though, have some time behind the wheel of one of these things, so far it feels like it could be a really cool daily driver. At the end of the day, it is a Porsche, and the air-cooled kind of community is really like boomed over the last 5, 10, 15 years. I would say more so the last 10 years, the air-cooled Porsche community is really like blown up. And so parts are accessible, maintenance is, you know, not difficult at all from what I've heard anyway. So the idea of having one of these for a weekend car is great, but even a daily doesn't seem like the worst idea ever. It is a Porsche at the end of the day, so they should be able to go as long as you do, as long as you maintain them right. And this one certainly is a great example of one. It's interesting not having a side mirror on the right side, and then you realize just by looking over to the right, you have so much visibility anyway, to where it really doesn't matter. But yeah, it's interesting. All right, so been driving for about 10 or so minutes, passing the Domain here. If you guys are from Austin, you guys would know where I'm at here. But yeah, so far, really great drive. I've just kept it in fifth gear, just kind of going with the flow of traffic, and just performing really nicely. I don't know, there's something charming about this car so far, and I've only like had to shift 1 through 5 once, but it just got a really nice charm to it, just cruising around on the highway right now. In fact, this is the first time I'm pressing on the brakes on the highway, so just getting the feel for everything. It's just a really, really cool car, as vintage cars as a whole, I'm sure are. So far, what I find pretty cool too is it hasn't really got a whole lot of attention. Of course, someone like me, car enthusiast, will pay attention to it and, you know, definitely break their necks to look at it on the road, or even take pictures of it when parked. I do that all the time with air-cooled Porsches. But for average people, they see it's an older Porsche and they're done. They don't have to stare. So I kind of like how those who know will appreciate it and look, and everyone else doesn't really glance too hard. So I've always kind of liked that aspect. A lot of attention's fun too, though, don't get me wrong, on the right car, but something like this, you're just having a lot of fun and not a whole lot of people looking at you. Kind of about that. I like that quite a bit. Those of you subscribers of mine from the area would like to see downtown Austin here, but to be honest, as long as I've lived here my whole life, I don't really drive downtown Austin too often, but get to do it today in an air-cooled Porsche, so no complaints for me, as long as the Porsche runs fine. But it's doing great so far. All the levels seem to be doing pretty good. Somewhat low on gas, but we'll get there. But yeah, what a cool little car to just leisurely drive around. Downshift so far, really, really nice. Once you just get used to it in the way that, you know, you get used to how much force needs to get into each gear on the knob and everything. Once you get used to it, you know, I'm still getting used to it, but so far my shifts have gotten way smoother from when I first started out with this car, and it's only been about 15 or so minutes, maybe 20 minutes. Tell you what, guys, most of that drive was on the highway, so as soon as I'm back in the city, having to do some starts and stops, again, getting used to everything, but just kind of zipping through everything. The visibility is so good, the car is so small, the transmission's got so much character to it, some that you have to just pay notice to and be easy with the clutch. It doesn't drive itself, and that's really, really cool, but it's not intimidating. That's kind of what I was afraid of. Again, speaking from zero experience prior to this for any vintage car, I thought it'd just be a little bit more clunky, a little bit more intimidating, wouldn't really know what I'm doing, would make it look like my first time driving ever, anything. But no, it's actually really, really fun, and it's not difficult at all. But yeah, I like it. Almost to the destination, kind of getting sad that I have to give it up, but I like it a lot. It's kind of one of those meet your hero things. I love air-cooled Porsches. I want one badly, hopefully sooner than later. But I just never drove one, never even ridden in one. So this is cool. It's eye-opening. It was different than what I expected, but not any better or worse. It's just a really, really fantastic car. But yeah, I mean, not much I can say about it coming from zero experience and not really knowing what I'm doing, but maybe that's the entertainment for you guys. Maybe you guys have never driven an air-cooled Porsche. You guys would wonder what you would think, but maybe that's the entertainment here. Zero experience and kind of first impressions, but it's a fun one, that's for sure. One thing though is it is hot in here, and I'm not too sure how to work the air conditioning, so I roll the window down a little bit, wind it down rather. Check this out, GT350R. That's pretty cool. Seen a few 350s like mine on the road, but I haven't seen a 350R other than like one other occasion. It's cool in lightning blue. I might be a little biased though. All right, guys, and there it is. Go ahead and pull the e-brake up here, turn off, throw it in first. All right, so not gonna lie, I was a little nervous for the drive there, but it's here in one piece. Got here nice and easily. Roll that window back up. Yeah, what a cool car. It's nice and cool outside now relative to in here. I didn't feel like fiddling with that while I was trying to get used to the car. All right, guys, so it's kind of a grab and dash kind of video, but nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sweating like a pig, but I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.